Guys, warning signs are already showing that house prices could plunge by more than 6% in the coming months and kick off before March when stamp duty tax holiday is removed, which is predicted to accelerate the slump. I really want to know why this is, so let's sprinkle the facts, guys. And those of you that are thinking about plunging into the house market, when is the best time? So house prices are actually already falling, as we discussed in my previous video. There is a lag between prices being agreed and sales completing, and normally that takes about 12 weeks. And so when a conveyancing quote is obtained from a solicitor, it takes about 3 months for it to crystallize in house price data. But in short, conveyancing data is a pre-indicator of what is to come between October to December. So Really Moving, which is a comparison site for conveyancing, found about a 6.2% decrease in house prices. So that will suggest that prices will fall by that amount between now and March. It could, of course, fall more than that because buyers may negotiate prices if they miss the stamp duty deadline and try to shift the burden to the seller. But in practice, that will pretty much depend on each case. Economists, for those of you interested, call it burden of tax, and it may not always all shift to the seller either. You can check out the data over here, which I'll try and put a fancy snazzy movement here. But that brings me on to the stamp holiday, which potentially may be extended, but we're not there yet. The history of changes to the tax have distorted transactions and normally caused a spike prior to and fall off thereafter. The most recent examples of this is the announcement in 2015 that in March 2016 taxes will spike for landlords and second home buyers. This caused a surge in activity in the run up to April, and then it literally halved thereafter. But as you will note from the pattern of the graph, the surge and drop then resumes to cyclical transaction patterns. And so the estate agents such as Savills predict prices could fall in spring but be broadly flat throughout the year. And that does tally with historical data. Other parties think not. They predict a 5% drop in prices as a result. There is a point to be made that not all areas will be hit by stamp changes in the same way. So those house price slumps will depend on the area, and that's an interesting observation made by data from firm 20SI, I want to say, which found 325,000 buyers all missed the stamp deadline, leading to an average tax bill of £15,000 per buyer. However, the log jams are regional, and so the impact on prices will be where the log jams are, and that makes sense. So where are these jams and where are these prices being stuck at? Well, there are no surprises. It's the southeast and pockets of concentration in the northwest, Midlands, Northern Ireland and Wales. They're least likely to be affected. Now on to more dangerous factors, not just for the housing market but for the UK in general. Here comes the doom. The stamp tax reprieve will come at the most difficult time for the UK economy. As it currently stands, furlough will turn off in April, and that has kept millions of workers afloat. Statistics currently forecast about 2.6 million people out of work by June and an unemployment rate of 7.5%. That is insane, and it gives me goosebumps, and it's generally seen as bad news for house prices. The second point is forced sales, and that's the ugly side of a rise in unemployment. And that is where banks are seizing properties from those who can no longer afford to pay their mortgages. We did see this in the 2008 crisis. Banks are keen to get their cash back, so they will sell fast at a discount to get that risk off their balance sheets. That being said, banks have been told to come up with more creative solutions and payment plans so homeowners can avoid this. Saving the best to last though, the past is not always a good indicator for the future. Take unemployment as an example, and that it will not hit all segments equally because this recession will hit the poorest the hardest, with higher income roles transitioning more easily to working from home. So other than a shock due to the stamp tax, the market will remain largely unchanged as lower incomes rent. I do cover this in a lot more detail, and it provides some more context as to why house prices won't collapse this year. And you can click here to watch that video and watch me explain, and I'll see you over there.